you conscious of a primary emotional payoff that you're consistently seeking through engagement with the wider world?
So, but also I see myself as a political activist, and I think if you are a political activist and even call yourself one, you would have to see the world through a perspective of optimism.
But what about my observation? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? That I kind of sense underneath what you're saying that your primary purpose for following the news and observing the world outside of yourself is to bolster your own sense of self, your own self-esteem, to provide even more evidence that I see things more clearly than everybody else.
Yes, perhaps. I mean, because I have a particular worldview, I would be seeking confirmation of bias, and I might be, using things that other people would see as, terrible, and yeah, taking a different perspective. I don't quite know how. Whether it's good or not. I mean, I think of Jews who are supposed to praise God even for misfortune. So well, when I realised that, that made a great impression on me. That
So
because it's a big God.
I had a beautiful girlfriend who I asked her how much of her self-esteem came from her looks, and she said 100%. And she may have been exaggerating. It might have only been 80%. But I would say that I get approximately, this is my self-perception, I get about 50% of my self-esteem from what I'm doing here, from my live streaming, from my social media commentary, from my essays and blog posts. So I would say I get about half of my self-esteem from my ability to decode and then share what's going on in the wider world. What percentage of your self-esteem do you get from your ability to decode and share what you see is going on in the wider world?
I would say over 50%. Yes, over 50%.
Yeah, I think so, because it's a tremendous commitment on your part, and you're not putting in this effort and this amount of time, and you're not taking all the social risks that come with some of your edgy commentary and talking to people on the edge. You're not doing that for trivial reasons. I mean, this is
It's a compulsion.
significant part of who you are.
Yes, and to a degree, it is a compulsion. I mean, I think of all these, heretics who got burnt at the stake when,
Yeah.
these things were done. I'm sure, they were warned, like, you better shut up about, questioning the Trinity, because you know what's going to happen to you if you don't shut up. And these people just carried on. And, I think that's quite impressive. And that made a great impression on me. That sometimes people do get a bee in their bonnet that they can only get over with when, to the end of their days, or they will test it to the very end.
So at what percentage of your self-esteem coming from your ability to decode the wider world, at what percentage would you say that it started to become maladaptive, that it's too high? Would you put that at 60%, 90%, 95%, 75%? Surely at a certain percentage, you would stand back and say, I am getting too much of my self-esteem from my decoding.